there's a lot of pride that comes with feeling like you're the man or you're the woman. Like, oh, I have all the answers to all the things. Come to me, everybody. But then at the same time, you bellyache about it. Like, no one can do anything without me, you know? And so I have a couple things that I wrote down 4 things that I think would be strategy. You know, I like to bring up strategic pods that people can implement. And this number 1, I think, is the most important way to start engineering your way out of feeling like you don't have a strategic team is this. And you taught me this, actually. So number 1. All right, if you've ever struggled from feeling like you are involved in every decision and you can't get ahead because you become the nucleus of everything, today Craig and I are going to talk about how to create a strategic and autonomous team. Craig, I asked Kim today as I was coming, actually yesterday, as I was with her as we were traveling down to an office in South Georgia, and I said, what would be a great podcast based on, you know, you're not in the world of podcasting, and what would be a great podcast to do? And she said, you know, really creating a strategic team. Because I think the default, and everyone listening to this, and Craig, you have, I'm going to use your expertise here, because I think you architected your way out of such an autonomous team that you are, you know, you're kind of on the fringe now, similar to me. But I think many people listening to this, Craig, are going to say that they feel that they get an email about everything. They get a text about everything. They get a conversation about everything. And progress doesn't happen without them. And so we use that term, the nucleus of everything. And so the goal is to create an autonomous team, or someone who's strategic thinking without your input. Agreed?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what I think most business owners say they want.
Yeah. I mean, look, and if you say you want to be involved in everything, like that's a whole different problem in itself, because you will be the impediment to growth for sure. As we've identified, we both were in those stages. The caveat to this is if you release this beast and you really put in the time, and I'm going to kind of go over some things that, you know, you could be architected your way out of your own organization potentially.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's a whole different set of, well, not architected your way out, but, you know, there is a lot of pride.
You're not as helpful at a certain point. You're not as helpful.
There's a lot of pride that comes with feeling like you're the man or you're the woman. Like, oh, I have all the answers to all the things. Come to me, everybody. But then at the same time, you bellyache about it. Like, no one can do anything without me, you know? And so I have a couple things that I wrote down 4 things that I think would be strategy. You know, I like to bring up strategic pods that people can implement. And this number 1, I think, is the most important way to start engineering your way out of feeling like you don't have a strategic team is this. And you taught me this, actually. So number 1, resist the temptation to solve, answer, or give someone the solution on how to do it if they ask you, right? And Craig, you did great on this. And when I would hear you say this back in the day of like, this is what I do, my knee-jerk response, bud, when you said this is like, that's a colossal waste of time. Why not just give him the answer? But you would go through the whole exercise of leading and training that individual. And I would love if you could kind of walk through. So for example, I'll be the person. I'll be your employee. Dr. Craig, this CT is acting up. What should I do?
Okay, well, what have you tried so far?
Yeah, well, you know, I just went back to the home screen and checked this kind of thing.
Okay, so, well, what do you think? Well, this is a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, it's a little more granular. I should have gone with something like on the phone.
Well, no, even like, you know, listen, that's like call the IT person.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was like, a bad example.
Did you call Tommy? You know, the guy.
Okay, let me give you this. Yeah. Mrs. Jones just called.
Okay,
and
perfect.
She's upset about her fluoride charge.
Perfect. Okay, well, why is she upset?
Well, she realized that it wasn't covered on.
Well, typically, let me try to be both people for a second. I can make it better if I'm both people. Okay, so, hey, Doc, Mrs. Jones just called. She's upset about her fluoride charge.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what specifically is she upset about? Well, I didn't really ask because she's so upset. She's like, I want to speak to the owner. And so that's why I'm getting you. Well, I'm with the patient and I want to make sure that patient's handled. So can you tell them, obviously I'll let you speak to the owner, but just so I can be prepared for the call, can I ask you a couple of questions? Or something like that.
Yeah.
What specifically were you upset about? Well, they never mentioned it. Okay. They never mentioned that there was going to be a charge, the $35 charge for fluoride or hydroxyapatite or whatever. So then you would then do what? You'd probably want to check with the hygienist to see if that was the case. Hey, Ashley, did you mention that? I absolutely mentioned it to them. Oh my God, this person's such a pain in the butt. And all I'm saying is like, just trying to help people think, because a great leader, and I consider, Pete, you a great leader. You're extraordinarily smart and fast and nimble, and you're confident. And that becomes, if you're really all those things, if you're really smart and you're really confident and you're really nimble and you're commanding, you're going to be a diminisher, not a multiplier, because everyone's going to get stupid around you. It's just a behavior pattern. So it's like that book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There. In order for you to go to the next level of leadership, you actually have to stop being the smartest, quickest person to speak. And you actually have to help people turn their brains back on, because your brain is the survival instrument that's burning shit tons of calories and no one wants to use it. We have a lot of smart people in our organizations. They just have been trained not to think anymore. And the first thing is actually not training people to think, but actually helping you with your psychology that you actually have capable people around you. So when I meet a failing business owner, Peter, I can tell in their vocabulary why their business is failing. It typically starts off with something like, hey, Pete, you got really lucky in Atlanta. Atlanta, there's great, you probably found great people. You probably found people that, used to run, 30, 40 location DSOs. We can't get good people. My people don't care. My people are not engaged. You can't trust employees. The minute you leave them alone, they're going to steal from you. So the first thing is not just training people to think. The first person you must lead is yourself. You have to lead yourself into the domain of, I have good people, or I can make my people better, or I will get great people.
Okay. So let's go back just kind of a step by step, right? Because these are all great things to do. So what are the then questions we would put back in our repertoire? Let's say we're committed to creating people who can kind of problem solve by themselves, for this example of the fluoride.
Okay. Yep.
You ask questions like, well, okay, you get very nuanced with the, what did they ask? And then I love when you say, well, what have you tried?
Right.
Right. And then you also then say, well, what do you think I would do at the end? Like, what do you think?
If they literally have nothing to answer, well, Doc, the reason why I'm coming to you is because I literally have no idea. It's almost like this little play into a person's brain. What do you think I would do? To which people will typically quickly say, I know exactly what you do. It's like almost like when someone doesn't have the answer, they can't think of the answer. You can, it's a brain hack. You can tell them, if you knew what the answer was, what would it be? I'm like, oh, it'd be this. So it's like, what would I do?
In your career, give me, like, how long did it take? Think of a person, right, that this worked exceedingly well on, that you took them from almost helpless, like childlike, right, like question, to super strategic and autonomous. I guess, how many times did this remediation take place?
It was exhaustive. It was exhaustive. It was exhaustive.
That wasn't the answer I was looking for.
Yeah,
exhaustive.
Well, the reason why it was exhaustive is because, your step one and my step one are different. So your step one is like, help people think. My step one is believe in people. Because if you treat people as they currently are, you make them worse. If you believe in what they can be, you help them become what they're capable of becoming, right? So I was doing your step one while thinking, dumbass, what would my belief system, I had a toxic belief system.
And they could feel that.
They could feel it. So while I was saying like, okay, what else did you try? In my brain, I'm like, you freaking dummy. Like how many times have I, so you got to believe in your people.
All right,
That's
so
the
step
bigger
one.
hack. Step one.
Okay.
So if you can
All right.
actually believe in them, like, I know you can do this. Like, let's figure this out. I see greatness in you, But that's what I used to do with Erica when she was my clinical assistant. She used to come into my office and say, hey, patient seated in op 5. Okay, what's going on? Oh, I didn't check the schedule. So she'd go check the schedule. Next time she'd come in, patient seated in op 5 with pain. I'm like, what's going on? She goes, I didn't check. So the next time she'd say, ultimately she'd wind up saying, so I don't have to take you through the entire process. Patients seated in op 5, they've got pain on the lower right. They had a recent crown put on. I checked it with bite film. There's high bite marks on the occlusal buccal surface. I took out a football burr and the handpiece, and everything's ready to go. Just zing the mesiobuccal cusp.
Mm-hmm.
She literally, I turned her into a dentist, and she actually liked her job better.
Yeah, a lot more fulfillment, a lot more thinking with your brain. Okay, so that's a great tip to then start just changing your vernacular, changing the way you address things, as opposed to don't be like Pete and is like, the answer is this. Just do this. Tell her this, right? So I messed up on that for many years.
So did I.
Okay, so the next thing I would say is, there used to be the joke, like, just, what did Google say? Let me Google that for you. Like it was an acronym. And I think that was tough for people. Like, well, hey, I don't know what to do with the fluoride charge or the CT. I Googled it, but that was a waste of time because it pulled up a zillion different links and I don't know what to look at and blah, blah, blah. I think now in an era of, and you're not going to like this because it is a little counterintuitive to using your own brain to think, but
I love it. I love where you're going.
So
I love where you're going.
With so many intelligent LLMs, right? Like I said in our mastermind, Craig, it used to be that like you could find the knowledge, right? So like there was no excuse to not learning how to do something, but that took some compiling, meaning you'd have to go look at this website and talk to this person. Now with the advent of, we are approaching AGI with LLMs, it's the perfect advocate for saying, hey, walk me through this step by step. And you would be shocked how nuanced it can be. Meaning I was repairing something on a car the other day and I took a picture of it and said, hey, troubleshoot me this. And it was like, oh, that's an ECM, blah, 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 do this, unplug it, step 1. And it guided me through absolutely everything from just uploading a picture of that thing. Okay. So if that's the level of intelligence we have, I think getting your team to leveraging technology and saying, hey, I have this problem. What would be some creative solutions to solving it without bothering X or without doing this, right? If you really don't have an idea on how to solve, if you're just at a blank, like, I don't know, I'm just the receptionist or I'm just the hygienist or I'm just an associate doc, I have no idea. Try to instigate the solution by yourself. And it doesn't take 45 minutes of Googling anymore, is my point. It takes one prompt to say, here's the context, right? The window, I always remind people, the window in all of your Claude and your ChatGPT and your Manus, that window you type things can have 3,000 words. That is called a context window. The more context about the situation you give that LLM, the better your output will be. Okay. So leverage that to your ability. And I would, so go ahead.
Sorry, finish your thought, please.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I am pushing on our team right now to not only think strategic about their own solutions, but strategic about the organization or their role or their department or what ifs, and use that LLM, and not to deploy what it says, Craig, as a robot, as an execute. It said this, so therefore I will do it, right? But as ideation. Oh, that's a good idea. That would actually work. I'm going to bring that to the next meeting, the next problem solving thing, which brings me to my third step, but I'm going to let you comment on this. Yeah.
Thank you. This is what's great about you and me. If I could drink our own Kool-Aid for a second, you're tactical and I'm philosophical, right? So your tactical point is like, use Claude, use GPT, use an AI, use an LLM. But what we're really talking about is be resourceful. So
Yeah.
before there was LLMs, I would get quite frustrated with my team when they would ask me questions when I'd say, oh, let me show you how that's done. I'd pull out my phone, I'd go to Google and be like,
Yeah.
where's
Yeah.
the handbook for, or where's the instruction manual for Variolink? So
Yeah.
you just spent 2 hours roaming the office to find the PDF that we lost from the Unisem we bought, last year or whatever. Go on Google and just find it. It's resourcefulness. It's just what makes a great business owner great is not that they're intelligent or they're fast paced or they're commanding. They're resourceful. And what makes a poor employee poor? They're not resourceful. They don't use the full scope of their resources.
Yeah.
So
and
whatever
when you don't
is,
do that, you actually become not very useful to the organization. Are you
Right.
are you a hole or are you a plug? Right? Are you solving things or are you adding to the leakiness of your vessel, kind of thing?
And the greatest leaders are the resourceful ones, are the ones
Yeah.
that when you go to Becky, how do I do this? Oh, it's easy. I'll show you. Or this is how you find her, to go here, or call our rep, or call Chris, the facility director, or call the IT person. They don't
Yeah.
have all the answers. They just know how to get it done.
Yep. Okay. So there was a number 3, Greg. There's an acronym. So I did an analogy with it when you were sick, and
Still sick.
sounding still sick a little bit, buddy. But there was an analogy that I did on comparing the Traction book by Gino Wickman, the EOS Traction, which stands for the Entrepreneur Operating System, and that to Bulletproof and the Bulletproof pathway. And it was weird because the constituents were the same. He has his in a wheel, we have ours in a pathway. Where I'm going with this is there's an acronym in there for just what we're talking about today, the Strategic Autonomous Team, and it's an acronym called IDS. Okay, and what that stands for is basically in a meeting, you're going to have meetings to then bring problems to, like I just alluded to in step 2. You have to have a meeting. So IDS stands for identify, discuss, and then solve the problem. Okay. So this is just a great way to put some structure to it, as opposed to, hey, we're going to come in and it's going to be a bitch session, and well, this is broken and this is never working, right? I always say, if you're going to come with a problem, come with at least one solution that you've thought about, so that it doesn't turn this negative pound on energy. And what used to happen in meetings for me, Craig, and I would bet you can remember this, is that there would be 5 people. Let's just say it was a department meeting, and everyone would just bring me the problem. Boom, 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 boom. And it was these heavy weights. They were just reaching out. It felt like, and throwing darts. And it was like, okay. And I was shielding it all, like, oh shit, and writing it down. Oh God, look at all this stuff I've got to fix. Look at all these things I've got to solve. And it felt very heavy. And so I started dreading meetings because I allowed dumpage.
Yeah.
Right.
You actually probably liked it at a certain sub.
I mean, there's probably some
level.
perverse thing in there. You're probably not wrong. Going back to give it to me. I'm Superman.
Smart. Yeah. I mean, it feels good egoically. So what this process that you're describing is going to take a long time. So when you go to this meeting and you start saying, well, what do y'all think? It's going to be so weird for your team. They're going to be like crickets. Mm-hmm. So you're likely, if you just go through these tactics and start changing to get a team that's like, well, what's going on with Dr. Jones?
Do you encourage department meetings? Do you mandate them? Do you encourage them? Yeah. Which one? Do you mandate them, or do you just encourage that they happen?
I love to tell you.
You don't mandate nothing.
I mandate nothing. I mandate nothing. I mandate results.
Okay.
I mandate results. So I don't care the process. I encourage things. Like, for example, I thought our team was getting a little cavalier and not understanding the level of bonuses we've passed out. So for this year to date, at this point, as of September, actually, because we don't have October done, we passed out like $142,000 worth of bonus money, which is a lot of money, really big money. Yeah. And like you say, Peter, you always say this, like, if you don't tell the team, like, here's what you're getting, people tend to take it for granted. Right. They'll leave you. They're getting $22 an hour with you, and there's a job down the street for 23. Hell, I'll take that one.
With no bonus system.
Right. So you have to continually point out, like, internal marketing. There's external marketing. Hey, we're great. Come check us out. We do crowns in one day.
Yeah.
And there's internal marketing of like marketing to your team. So I talked about that, and then boom, an email started showing up. Hey, Becky, year to date, you've gotten $8,643 in addition to your pay. So those types of things happen, but the teams meet together. I've never been part of a leadership team.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say, Craig, is that I feel like people listening to this might think, well, I'm involved in the hygiene meeting and I'm like a doctor. I'm involved in the assistant meeting and I'm involved in the front business team meeting.
I would be
I'm
a
involved
major
in all these
distraction.
meetings. You really should only be in a meeting with the person who can execute change for you, meaning more than likely your office manager, or if you're big enough, you have a C-suite, right? You need to have just leadership meetings. If you get in, and maybe in the beginning, you maybe if you really need to kind of like get this rolling, you will be involved in meeting 1 or 2. Let's just say, I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, you should be. Maybe
just
3 or 4.
Because it's just like a morning meeting, you're there to help structure, right? You're helping there to say, hey, this is how it's going to roll. And then once you create that structure and you're pleased and you're basically sitting back just watching interaction and things being solved, it's time for you to extricate yourself from that environment because you're no longer serving a purpose. And actually, that is the goal, as we spoke of in the first part of our pod here. The goal is to increase your bandwidth of availability. Meaning if you feel like you have to do payroll and all these meetings and all this and to see the patients and do this and make this, this is when burnout occurs. So as the antidote for burnout, you want to create this autonomous team. And the people who have it, like I'm thinking about some of our masterminds now, they are absolutely thriving and couldn't be happier. And I think this was the great inflection point.
Yeah, making more money with less work, less output. Crazy.
And happier, right?
Yep.
More money, happier, more time. Like, isn't that the holy grail? But the team is the leverage because they are our biggest investment, not expenditure or investment. And like you said, Craig, they become more fulfilled, more happy, more autonomous, more contributing, more collaborative, right? As opposed to just, all I do is suck spit kind of thing. It's like, hey, can you assistants go and have a meeting about the efficiency of the appointment? How can we, what material should we, I don't know, what material should we, let's get consensus there.
I love that.
All the things. Like you can.
Is there a way to make Invisalign more efficient? Can we, instead of just putting the attachments and doing this, can we do this? Can we do that? Then, they know better than we do.
And then y'all when you guys have consensus, bring me the solution to that. I would love to hear it. Not I would love to approve it. I would love to hear it.
And you'd be shocked on what they come up with.
It'd be amazing.
Be shocked.
It'd be amazing.
Because you're busy cutting crowns. You don't realize the problems they're having. You don't realize the little system that you put in about, making
you don't have the
patients
context.
Yeah, you don't have the context. You have no
context.
idea. You have no idea why there's a 7% no-show rate. The admin people answering the phone now. Because Doc, remember that thing you made us do where they had to give their blood type and their credit card before confirming? Yeah, no one knows their blood type or whatever,
Yeah. Like, hey, business team, I'm going to pay you guys to go have cocktails or something after work or whatever, right? I'm like, maybe that's against the law. Maybe you can't pay for cocktails.
Go get coffee.
Hey, you guys, I want you guys to go solve for these 3 things. Why our no-show rates are incredibly high, right? Why people aren't converting when they call. Like, this is the thing. Hey, solve for this and then let me know kind of thing. Because you guys, the answers are in the collective of you guys.
You know what the typical body language is, right? Like, because we see this at the summit, when we go around the room, when you get the office manager and the admin team together, you really want to know what it is? And they look at each other. They're like, and they look at the doc like,
everyone starts laughing.
Everyone starts laughing. You really want to know what it is? He gives away all the treatment. Oh, that guy fixed his car. Give him free cleaning.
Oh yeah, he just says waive that failed appointment fee.
Yeah, waive the charge.
Don't do that.
You really want to know what it is? It's always that. So they actually know. It's just we're the big limiting factor. Like, your organization cannot outgrow your shadow.
Well, and that's a good thing to bring up, Craig. You have to then, there can be no repercussions to the solution, meaning, hey, doc, the problem is you kind of thing. You have to be you have to be okay with that and saying okay, I'll stop saying that to patients. Meaning if the solution is something that you have to solve, if you are the impediment to progress, you have to be okay, fair, received. I will no longer do that. I did not know it was impeding you guys' job. I didn't know what I was saying was making it harder for you. What you do not want to say, and I can't emphasize this enough, is to say, well, screw you guys. I'm the boss. My name's on the door. I made this big investment. People are coming for me. Like, this is not the shit you want to say.
But you can if you want to stay small. There's a great
that
book
is the obvious, Craig. I know people are like, well, duh. But like,
well, there's another way. There's a softer way of saying that actually is something that's very likely for you to say if you're not that great level of leadership yet. It's like, hey, appreciate your feedback. Just not going to work. I'm not really willing to try that.
Yeah,
or
but that
not
sucks.
even I appreciate your feedback. I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah, then you're not ready. Then you were not ready for the next levels. If that's your response, then like you got to work on that. Honestly,
great opportunity to plug a book that really changed my life. And Peter, I wanted you to read it for the longest time, but you kind of learned it organically or osmotically, I suppose. 5 Levels of Leadership by John Maxwell. So what Peter just described of like, did you read that one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then there was another one I wanted you to read, like How I Messed Up as a Leader by Maxwell, like the last one he wrote. But anyway, what Peter just described, like I'm the boss, it's my name on the door. That's positional leadership. I have a gun. I can shoot you. I can fire you, STF you, and do what I say. It's great. It's fine. But that's when you get people like lamenting, like the work culture is not the same as it used to be. People don't want to follow you anymore. It's not like it used to be. Yeah, because, Gen X, like Peter's and my age, or boomers, and whatever, I am, I guess, who knows? We just were good at like making people think we were listening to them. We were like, yes, sir. No problem, sir. And then behind their back, like jackass,
dummy.
So now people just don't even have that filter. They won't follow you. So again, I think the very first thing is just check your psychology, because at the end of the day, Peter was there not long ago when my C-suite came up to me, one person in particular, and said like, listen, you're not really needed in the office and we got to figure out a new role for you. And Peter was just like, oh, burn. But it's a funny position to be in because I love being in my office. And I know that at a certain amount of time that I spend there, my shadow is too big. I take up too much oxygen. I can't help myself from talking. If you've been listening to this podcast, you know who I am. I have to be microdosing in my office. I'm good for ideas. I'm good to like high five and show up, but then I got to get out because my frenetic energy is great at starting things. You need a certain amount of entropy and disorganization to start something. Mm-hmm. You have to question the status quo. You have to tear things down. You have to get the ball moving. But then when things are moving, disruptive energy is antithetical to systems, profit, and stability.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a person like Peter and I, we are great founders. Why can't we do this? We could do this. We could deliver toothbrushes with a drone. We'll get all excited about different ideas. But once it's actually operating, we want to change things all the time, and it causes chaos. You think that's fair to say, Pete?
Absolutely. I was thinking about a story of my best buddy who runs the 29 organization. Right? They climb it's events that you climb the Everest. His name's Mark.
Okay.
And for the first time, he's heard me kind of talk about, you got to extricate your way a little bit to allow other people to step up. And so since the dawn of time, he's been to every event, Craig. He leads with a great speech. He's a very compelling speaker, very from his heart, makes people cry kind of thing. And then he goes and actually does the event with everybody. And so people have come to expect him. They're going to be on the mountain, walking this, climbing and hiking this event every single time. And so this was the first time, this last event was the first time he was like, I'm going to fly in, I'm going to do the speech, and then I'm going home because my family. And so it was I can just imagine like the feeling he was having, is this all going to crumble without me, right? If I'm not there, is this event going to be okay? And I told him, I was like, bud, Craig always tells me that a great leader can sometimes suck all the oxygen out of the room, and people they turn their brains off, and if there's a problem, they just look to you, right? But I was like, but this is a way for you removing yourself is not abdicating, hey, run this event for me. It's actually stepping away so that other people in your ecosystem, he's got 30 employees, can actually step up in your absence. And you will see leaders thrive in this scenario. And it's not you abandoning people, it's you actually being a good leader. And he was like, dude, I never thought of it like this. Like, he had guilt. And he texted me on the way home from the plane. He's like, man, that, so good is all, And so it just reminds But I went through that whole emotion about like, well, I'm not in the office today, therefore I'm a bad leader, and blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
I
big
should
time
be
for
doing
me
this.
too.
I
Big
should
time.
be doing,
So much
I have
guilt.
guilt.
So much guilt. So much guilt.
But the guilt is actually, like you said, egoic. It's your own stupid thing you're telling you. The real way to do it is to allow people to thrive in your absence, because you created such a great scaffolding, such a great system of an operational system.
What's nice
an
though
autonomous team, right, Craig? You created a strategic autonomous team that you are an augmentation to it, but you are not the nucleus.
I love that, Pete. You know what else about the guilt? The guilt softens to appreciation.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
one of the greatest things a leader can be is appreciative. So while you're there doing your thing, whatever it is, you're at your lake house, you're with your family, you're at a soccer game, your team is working their tail off. Mm-hmm. And they're creating the economic reality that you live in. And it goes from guilt, like I should be there, to I'm not there and I feel guilty, to now, holy smokes, these people are trading up their time with their families, and they're working so hard, and they're doing this for this organization, and it turns into a wave of appreciation. So, you used to walk around the office with your primary question of, why do I have to be the nucleus of everything?
Yeah.
My primary question was, no one gives a crap. Both completely caustic, because people can feel those emotions even if you don't say them. Now my primary question is, how am I so blessed that so many people care enough to run this place? So I'm happy if you feel guilty at first, because your guilt will transform into appreciation and gratitude.
I couldn't agree with that more. Yeah, immense gratitude. And then also like gratitude for yourself, meaning you put in the hard work to create all that, right?
Yeah, the framework.
It rolls without you, and you should pat yourself. Yeah. So it is cool. It is cool. And you're right. There are all these iterations. We see it with masterminders, right? We see it with people who want to get out of the chair, right? And that their goal is eventually get out of the chair one day completely. And we see this a lot. Like, I want to stop dentistry. And there's a tremendous amount of guilt that comes from it. Tremendous.
Or another example, if that doesn't resonate with you and you love dentistry, look at Eric Martin. Just guilt because I practice in a community that has so much dental neglect and so few dentists. I can't take a day off because there'll be people in pain. And we always say you'll do more for other people than you'll do for yourself. So let's just say you love dentistry and it's all working fine, but you just want to help more people.
Right.
Grow your
and his
practice.
Solution was, I'll just work more. I'll do 6 days a week. And we were like,
or 7
Eric,
days a week, yeah.
That's
or I
not
won't take a vacation for 7 years.
I'll never take a vacation, right? And so now he's building scale, which is the correct answer, so that he can bring in more dentists and more time. Scale's going to solve that for that community. So like, what a blessing he is for his community, right? Up in Pennsylvania. What a blessing that he came back home and is now scaling and building this massive building to then serve more people, which is really cool.
Let's take an analogy, a simple analogy, like dentistry is noble. Because if we open up more facilities, especially those in rural areas, there's people that have toothaches that can only get an hour and a half to take off of work. And if the closest dentist is an hour and a half away, that's a problem. So let's take other businesses who like Jiffy Lube. Jiffy Lube probably has some sort, and I have no idea. Or maybe let's use Papa John's pizza. I always love talking about pizza. But let's just say, and I don't know if this is true or not, but when you're in a rural town and there's no pizza, Papa John's is actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, delicious.
If you're in a downtown metropolis where they have like wood oven pizzas and all these great pizzas, Papa John's may not be the best thing. But Papa John's is probably thinking like, hey, this area with a population of 15,000 could really use a Papa John's. And we'd love that area to have decent pizza. But what we do in dentistry is 100x more noble. No offense to Papa John there. But we actually help people. So, if you're thinking like Peter did, that you want to extricate yourself from the chair, or more like Dr. Martin, who's like, I just have such a need, I can't possibly take a day off. The answer to both is scale. So maybe don't buy that 4-operatory facility that you're thinking. Maybe not. Maybe think bigger. Maybe think about 10 or 12 ops or 15 ops.
Yeah. Reverse engineer your way to that solution, right? And it's not going to be 4. You're right. It's you gotta think you got to think strategically in reverse, if you will. Like, I want to
Yeah.
do this. I want to make this. I want to have this life. How do I get there? And what are the constituents? What is my chair production per year?
Right,
What does
right.
my hygienist do? What do I do? What do I take home now? Like all these things. And,
Right.
and this is the things we go over in Mastermind. But I
Right.
don't know how we got here again, but I guess it's, ultimately, Craig, in order to accomplish all of those things, the strategic autonomous team is imperative to create in this. And actually, I would just say it's imperative whether you want to scale and get out, or scale and stay, or just live a happy
Or do
life.
what you're doing, even if you're just that 3 operatory, 4 operatory.
Yeah, we want to live a happy life. Because look, decision fatigue is a real thing. The reason a lot of us are exhausted at the end of the day is because our brain sucks the most energy. More than anything. It doesn't take a lot of just sitting there watching TV, right? But when your brain is doing complex decision making, analysis, blah, 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 it's sucking all your caloric intake, right? All your and you only have, I don't know what the study is. I should have looked this up, but it just popped in. But you only have you can only make like 200 quality decisions a day. What am I going to wear? How am I going to drive? Am I going to turn left? You can only really make. So that's why all those great leaders, and I think I brought this up before, like the Steve Jobs wore a black turtleneck every day. Why? Because it was one less decision he had to make. Like so does Mark Zuckerberg, and that's an extreme example, but they are the success of millions of people lives depend on the decisions they make. And so by preserving their caloric intake of their brain, they're making better quality decisions, which impacts millions of people. So decision fatigue is a real thing. So let me land this, Craig.
Yep.
What I'm saying is the autonomous team can help you feel less tired at the end of the day, right? You can feel almost energized at the end of the day because all you went into this well-oiled machine, you did the dentistry.
Yeah.
Problems weren't dumped on you. Things were being solved around you. And now you went home and everything was handled. Right. And maybe there's these, momentary this, momentary that, and you jump in and you can help solve. But it's not all day, every day kind of thing, which just drains the dang dog shit out of you.
Yep.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to connect
I love
that. Yeah.
I love it. I think a lot of people are using the word burnout, and they're really not. They love their dentistry. They just hate the 98% of the stuff that goes along with it.
Yeah.
And if you have a 3 operatory practice or 4 operatory practice and you love dentistry, kudos to you.
Yeah.
And still do this. Do this so that you show
burnout
up.
Sometimes is not burnout. It's I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'm just overwhelmed. So
Love
anyway,
it.
bud, great prod. We're going to wrap here. We're going to keep this at, I don't know where my 37 minutes. Look at us getting more pithy over time.
Well, you stopped me from talking a couple of times. That's good.
Well, you
If you would have let me go, I would have wound up on something really far off, like SpaceX
under the
or
weather.
something.
I figured we need to get you rested. Go get you an IV, a glutathione, mega dose of vitamin C. Come on. Take care of your body.
Okay, I'll call you when we hang up. I want to find out about this glutathione.
Get some zinc.
Can I just take it orally? Do I have to inject
No.
myself?
What is the absorption rate? No.
I have no idea. It's better
completely different. Completely different. So you got to get this. All right, everybody. We again appreciate everyone for listening to us. And if you've gotten any value from this, don't forget. I'm going to remember our 3 R's here, Craig. Send this to a friend.
Yes.
Give us a referral. Give us a review. Or give us a referral. All the things. So we appreciate y'all, and we hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see y'all next time.
Thanks, guys.